The long-anticipated trailer for 28 Years Later, the sequel to the cult classic 28 Days Later, has finally dropped, and the response from audiences has been nothing short of enthusiastic. The trailer certainly does its job in building excitement for the film. It's clear that the franchise's return has ignited the imaginations of fans eager for more of the post-apocalyptic chaos brought on by the infamous rage virus. However, while the trailer seems good, it is important to approach 28 Years Later with cautious optimism, as the road to a satisfying sequel, particularly one released 18 years after its predecessor, has challenges. From the moment the trailer dropped, it was clear that the filmmakers understood the power of nostalgia. The visual style, the grim portrayal of a decimated world, and the return of themes of survival and human fragility are all present and accounted for. A new generation of characters finds themselves confronting the aftermath of the rage virus. But this time, it's not just about survival, it's about rebuilding a shattered world. The camera work is as gritty and immersive as it was in the first film, capturing the sense of isolation and tension that made 28 Days Later so effective. What stands out the most, however, is the atmosphere. The eerie soundtrack, the brief flashes of infected hordes, and the evocative shots of desolate landscapes all contribute to the overall feeling of suspense. It's easy to see why so many viewers are drawn to the trailer, and the excitement is palpable. It taps into the sense of dread that made the original film such a groundbreaking entry in the zombie genre. The trailer, in many ways, does exactly what it needs to do: draw viewers in and leave them wanting more. While the trailer succeeds in reigniting interest in the 28 Days Later franchise, there are valid reasons for skepticism regarding 28 Years Later. The most glaring issue is the sheer gap in time between the release of the second film and its sequel. It has been 18 years since 28 Weeks Later was released, and you should be questioning whether a sequel can truly live up to the legacy of the original. I think that the film might feel disconnected, both from the time in which it was created and from the audience who loved it so dearly. In the years following the release of 28 Weeks Later, the landscape of cinema and the zombie genre itself has changed significantly. We've seen a proliferation of post-apocalyptic films and television shows, many of which have borrowed heavily from the tropes established by 28 Days Later. The genre itself has become more crowded and, at times, oversaturated. Will 28 Years Later be able to stand out in this modern landscape, or will it simply feel like a tired retread of familiar themes? Another concern is the handling of the rage virus itself. In the original film, the virus was a metaphor for the breakdown of societal order and a reflection of human rage. The viral outbreak felt urgent and terrifying because it mirrored the chaos and violence that could erupt in a society on the brink of collapse. Now, 28 years later, is the rage virus still relevant in the same way? Will the film be able to reinvent its central premise while still staying true to what made the original so compelling? Moreover, the long wait for a sequel creates additional hurdles. Fans have built up years of expectations, and the pressure to satisfy them can often result in a film that tries too hard to cater to past glories. While the trailer is undeniably enticing, there's always the risk that the movie itself will fail to live up to the hype. The gap between this film and the last one has also created a generational divide. The younger audience that has grown up in the age of post-apocalyptic TV shows like The Walking Dead may have different expectations and a different understanding of the genre compared to those who first experienced 28 Weeks Later in theaters. 28 Days Later is widely regarded as a revolutionary film, largely because of its combination of emotional depth, visceral horror, and a haunting commentary on humanity's darker impulses. It is a movie that captured lightning in a bottle, and replicating that success is no easy feat. Sequelitis is a common issue in the film industry, especially when a significant amount of time has passed. The temptation to capitalize on the success of the original film can lead to a lack of innovation, as filmmakers may opt for familiar tropes or nostalgic callbacks at the expense of fresh ideas. While the trailer does an excellent job of evoking the spirit of the original, it's difficult to know whether the film will capture the same sense of urgency and emotional investment. The question remains whether the filmmakers can create a story that feels not just like a continuation of the original, but a worthy successor that stands on its own merits. The 28 Years Later trailer undoubtedly sets the stage for an exciting return to the world of the Rage virus, and you should be excited by the glimpses of what the film promises. Its atmosphere, action, and tension are all on point, making it clear that the filmmakers have invested considerable effort into bringing the franchise back to life. However, the considerable gap between the first film and this sequel, coupled with the challenges of creating a film that lives up to the original's legacy, means that audiences should remain cautiously optimistic.